Breaking news. There is now a transgender military spokesperson in Ukraine. An American transgender journalist has been hired as a spokesperson for Ukraine's territorial defense forces. On Thursday, the Kyiv Post tweeted that Sarah Ashton Cirillo has become one of the speakers for the defense forces, and her efforts on behalf of Ukraine were quickly lauded in statements from the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense and the Ukrainian Deputy Minister of Defense, Hanna Maliar. Having been in Ukraine for almost 520 days in a variety of both civilian and military capacities, more than anything I've come to appreciate the strength and resilience of the Ukrainian people, Ashton Cirillo wrote in an email to Newsweek. That resilience has served her well over the past month as she has transitioned from being a frontline infantry soldier to one of the public faces of the Ukrainian armed forces, she said. In March of 2022, not long after Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine had begun in February of that year, Ashton Cirillo landed in Ukraine. At first, she was employed there as a journalist, prompting USA Today to dub her the world's first openly transgender war correspondent. But after seeing the war for herself, she enlisted in the Ukrainian military and served as a medic in the field. In February of 2023, Ashton Cirillo gave an interview to CBS News in which she mentioned that her unit had been in a fight the day before. Ashton Cirillo reported being wounded in the hand and face by shell fragments, and the unit as a whole took casualties. Ashton Cirillo is a junior sergeant in the Ukrainian military and hosts 2 English-language shows, Ukraine in the Know and Russia Hates the Truth, for the Territorial Defense Forces. As Ashton Cirillo put it in a tweet on Thursday, "I have never been so honored as I have been reading the dual statements released by Ukraine's Ministry of Defense and Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar regarding my work in behalf of victory. This swift and public show of official support for my service in Ukraine means more to me than I can say." Some Russian bloggers reacted negatively to the news of Ashton Cirillo's new role, prompting prominent Ukrainians to defend the junior sergeant. One of these was Inna Sovsun, a lawmaker in Ukraine, who, in congratulating Ashton Cirillo, poked fun at her critics. The courageous Sarah Ashton LV is fighting for #Ukraine. We owe her gratitude and respect. Sarah, I'm so happy for you that you've been chosen as the new spokesperson for the Ukrainian Territorial Defense Forces. On Twitter, Sovsun made a post. "You know you're doing things right when even Russian propaganda is against you." In her email to Newsweek, Ashton Cirillo also discussed the immediate pushback she faced from Russian sources due to her spokesperson role. When Russian television station Channel 1 and a plethora of Kremlin-guided telegram pages totaling millions of people reported that I was being named the official English-language spokesperson for the Territorial Defense Forces of Ukraine, she wrote, the response from the Moscow cabal was, as expected, venomous and harsh. Ashton Cirillo went on to thank her audience, including Maliar, her superiors, her fellow employees at the Territorial Defense Forces media studios, and the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. She also talked about how being a transgender woman has made her the target of online harassment. "The Russian propagandist war criminals used my identity as part of their narrative to discredit me." Ashton Cirillo called this a hilarious line of attack, because what we're fighting for in Ukraine isn't tolerance or acceptance for certain groups, but freedom and liberation for all people. With the implementation of President Volodymyr Zelensky's 10-point peace formula and the return of Ukraine to its 1991 borders, this is a concept the whole world will witness, as the author puts it.